You know, people always ask me, Steve, what's the secret to keeping a man? What do men really want to hear? And I tell them it's not about saying baby or honey. Those are nice, sure, but they're surface words. What really moves a man, what reaches his core, are three words that speak to his soul. I trust you. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. Words are more than just sounds that come out of our mouths. They're powerful. They shape how we think, how we love, and how we connect. Every relationship, every bond, every spark that ever caught fire between two people, it all started with words. The power of language is the most underestimated tool in love and in life. It can build a bridge or burn one down, and when you learn how to use it right, you can touch someone's heart in a way that nothing else can. When I say never say baby or honey, I'm not saying those words are bad. They're sweet, they're affectionate, but they're easy. They roll off the tongue without meaning if you say them enough. Baby is something you can call a stranger. Honey can be said out of habit. But the real connection comes from words that carry intention, emotion, and belief. The words that make a man pause, make him feel seen, respected, and valued. Those are the words that make him yours. See, language is energy. It travels from your heart to his ears and lands right where it matters most, as spirit. When you speak to a man, you're not just communicating, you're creating a feeling inside him. You can make him feel small with criticism, or you can make him feel 10 feet tall with encouragement. You can shut him down with doubt, or you can light him up with trust. That's the power of language. It's the difference between saying something and speaking life into someone. Now, a man might act strong, might act like he's got everything under control, but deep down, every man wants to feel needed and appreciated. Not for what he gives, not for what he owns, but for who he is, and that's where your words come in. When you say to him, I trust you, or I believe in you, or I'm proud of you, those words go straight to his soul. It's not flattery, it's fuel. It tells him he's not alone in his struggle. It tells him that no matter how tough the world gets, he's got someone who believes in his ability to handle it. You see, men don't open up easily. They've been raised to be tough, to hide emotion, to act like nothing gets to them. But the right words can break through that wall. The right words make him feel safe enough to show his true self. That's emotional connection, when your words reach him where no one else's can. When he feels understood, respected, and accepted for who he really is. And that doesn't happen by accident. That happens when you choose your language with love and purpose. I've seen women who can calm a storm in their man's heart with just a few words. Not because they're loud or dramatic, but because they're intentional. They speak with kindness even when they're angry. They express needs without tearing him down. They understand that how they say something matters just as much as what they say. And fellas, it goes both ways. The same power exists for you too. The way you talk to your woman, the tone you use, the respect you give, that builds or breaks the connection between you. Now let's get real in relationships. We sometimes forget how much words matter. We get comfortable. We stop saying thank you. We stop saying I appreciate you. We stop telling each other the truth about how we feel. And when that happens, the connection starts to fade. Because emotional connection isn't built on gifts or trips or expensive dinners, it's built on communication. It's built on small, sincere words that tell the other person, I see you, I value you, you matter to me. I'll tell you something I've learned from years of experience. When you talk to your partner, your tone can turn a disagreement into understanding, or it can turn understanding into a fight. You can say, why didn't you do that? Or you can say, hey, what happened? You okay? The words are similar, but the meaning, the energy behind them changes everything. That's how language shapes connection. It's not about manipulation. It's about empathy. It's about using your words to build closeness, not distance. When you love someone, your words should lift them. Every "I'm proud of you" adds strength. Every "I believe in you" adds confidence. Every "I'm here for you" adds peace. That's how you create a space where love can grow with words that carry meaning. Because real love isn't about how loud you shout it, it's about how deeply you speak it. The truth is, we all crave to be understood. We all want someone who hears not just what we say, but what we mean. That's what emotional connection is: understanding without judgment, speaking without fear, listening without interruption. And you can only reach that level when you learn to use language as a bridge, not a weapon. Sometimes the smallest words can change everything. "I understand." "I forgive you." "I'm listening." These are words that open hearts. They tell your partner that you care more about connection than being right, that you value peace over pride. That's how love stays strong, not through perfection, but through compassion in communication. So, when I say the power of language shapes emotional connection, I'm saying your words create your world. You speak your relationships into existence. You can build trust, love, and respect, or you can break them all with the way you talk. That's why you've got to be mindful. You've got to mean what you say and say what you mean. Because when your words come from a place of love, they never go unheard. They plant seeds, and those seeds grow into something beautiful: understanding, respect, and an unbreakable bond. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something real: in every relationship, whether it's new or been standing for years, affection matters, but admiration and respect are what make it last. You can call someone baby, sweetheart, or honey all day long, but if your tone lacks sincerity, if your words don't carry true respect, they don't mean a thing. Pet names are like sugar, they make things sweet for a moment. But respect and admiration, that's the meal, that's the nourishment a relationship needs to survive and grow. Every man deep down wants to be admired, not worshipped, not flattered, but respected. He wants to feel that his woman sees his effort, acknowledges his strength, and values his role. And the truth is, respect doesn't come from compliments alone. It comes from actions, from language, and from how you treat him when he's not at his best. When a man feels respected, he feels safe to love. He feels proud to stand beside you. That's a deeper kind of love, the kind built not on pet names, but on appreciation and trust. Now, admiration isn't about ego. It's not about feeding pride. It's about recognizing effort. When a man works hard, when he shows up, when he protects and provides in whatever way he can, big or small, he needs to know it's seen. He needs to feel that his partner notices and values that. You can say baby 100 times, but one "I'm proud of you" carries more weight than all of them combined, because those words speak to his soul, not just his ears. Think about it this way: love makes a man stay, but respect makes him grow. When a man feels admired by his woman, he becomes a better version of himself. He walks differently, he carries himself with more confidence, he's motivated to rise because the person he loves most believes in him. But when he feels belittled, disrespected, or taken for granted, that fire inside him dims. And it's not just men, the same goes for women. Respect is mutual. Both sides need it to keep the love alive. See, respect isn't something you just talk about. It's something you show in the little moments. It's how you speak to each other during an argument. It's how you react when he opens up about something vulnerable. It's whether you listen when he speaks or talk over him. It's how you handle disagreement without tearing him down. Respect doesn't mean you have to agree with everything. It means you value him enough to disagree with grace. So many couples lose connection not because the love disappears, but because the respect fades. They start treating each other like opponents instead of teammates. They replace admiration with sarcasm, replace patience with criticism, and slowly they stop seeing the good in each other. But when you admire your partner, when you look for the things he's doing right instead of only pointing out what's wrong, the energy changes. The relationship feels lighter, more supportive, more peaceful. You know, people think love is about constant romance, the dates, the flowers, the surprises. But love is really about consistency, humility, and gratitude. When a man walks in the door after a long day and hears, "I appreciate what you do for us," that means more to him than any pet name ever could. Because admiration touches the part of him that wants to feel useful, that wants to know he's contributing to something meaningful. And fellas, this goes both ways. A woman also needs admiration. She wants to be seen, not just for how she looks, but for what she does, how she gives, how she holds everything together. Don't just say you look good. Say you inspire me. Tell her I see how hard you work. Or I don't say it enough, but I notice what you do. That's what fills her heart. Because at the end of the day, everyone, man or woman, wants to be valued beyond surface level affection. Now, let's talk about authenticity, because that's where the real power lies. Authentic respect isn't forced, it's felt. It's when you truly mean what you say. It's when your admiration isn't about manipulation, but about genuine appreciation. Too many people use flattery like a tool, saying what they think the other person wants to hear. But the truth always shows. Real admiration has depth. It's specific. When you tell a man, "I admire how you handled that situation," or "I respect how patient you were," that tells him you're paying attention. That tells him you're emotionally invested, not just romantically attached. You can't fake that, and you shouldn't have to, because when admiration is real, it creates emotional intimacy. It builds a connection that doesn't need constant reassurance. When respect is mutual, you don't have to chase validation, you already feel secure. And that's what every strong couple has, not just love, but a deep foundation of respect and admiration that holds them steady when life gets messy. Now, I've seen a lot of relationships fall apart because one or both people forgot this truth. They stopped showing gratitude. They started speaking carelessly. They let frustration replace appreciation. And before they knew it, love felt like work instead of joy. But it doesn't have to be that way. If you want a relationship that lasts, keep respect alive. Keep admiration flowing. Keep reminding each other of your worth. Because when you stop admiring the person you're with, you stop seeing the reason you fell in love in the first place. Here's the thing, pet names might warm the heart, but respect keeps it beating. You can't build a lasting bond on sweetness alone. You need substance. You need the kind of admiration that says, "I see who you are and I value it." That's how you make someone feel like they matter. That's how you make them feel safe enough to be real. So, ladies and gentlemen, never underestimate the power of authentic respect and admiration. They are the silent forces that hold love together when passion fades, when challenges come, when words run out. When you give those things freely and genuinely, you don't just love someone, you empower them. You remind them they're worth believing in. And when two people feel respected, when they admire each other deeply, they don't just stay together, they grow together. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something powerful. Every man, no matter how tough he looks on the outside, has a heart that craves one thing above all else: appreciation. You can't buy it, you can't fake it, and you can't replace it with charm or flattery. Real appreciation, genuine belief in who he is and what he stands for, touches a man's soul in a way nothing else can. A man might act like he doesn't need it, But when the woman he loves looks at him and says, "I'm proud of you," or "I believe in you," that's the kind of love that changes him. That's the kind of love that anchors him. You see, men are wired to achieve, to build, to protect, and to provide, not always in material ways, but emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. And while he may seem confident to the world, inside he carries doubts, fears, and insecurities that he doesn't always show. The world expects him to be strong all the time, to never falter, to always know what to do. But when that man comes home, he doesn't need another critic, he needs a believer. He needs a woman who sees the effort behind his silence, the strength behind his struggles, the goodness behind his imperfections. When a man feels appreciated, something inside him awakens. He starts to walk taller, speak clearer, and move with purpose. Because now, he's not just fighting for himself, he's fighting for the woman who believes in him. And that belief, that appreciation, becomes his fuel. He doesn't need you to solve his problems. He just needs you to remind him that he's capable of solving them. That's what belief does. It builds confidence where there was doubt. Appreciation isn't about grand gestures. It's not about saying thank you once in a while or complimenting him when he does something big. It's about recognizing the little things he does, the effort he puts in every day that might go unnoticed. Maybe he works long hours to keep things running. Maybe he fixes things around the house, checks in when you're upset, or stands by you when times get tough. When you look at him and say, "I see what you're doing, and I'm grateful," you're not just speaking words, you're giving him meaning. You're saying, "Your effort matters to me." That's powerful because for a man, being appreciated is equal to being loved. You can tell him you love him, but if he doesn't feel appreciated, those words don't sink in. Love without appreciation feels hollow, but appreciation real, heartfelt appreciation makes love come alive. It tells him that who he is and what he brings to the table is valued. It reminds him that his presence makes a difference. Now, belief goes hand in hand with appreciation. You can appreciate someone's actions, but believing in them speaks to their potential. When a man hears, "I believe in you," something changes, because in that moment, you're not just seeing what he's done, you're seeing who he can become. You're telling him, "You're not defined by your failures, and I trust your ability to rise." That's what gives a man courage. That's what keeps him going when the world tells him he can't. I've met so many men who have said, "The moment I knew she was the one was when she believed in me before I even believed in myself." Think about that belief so deep that it gives a man vision, strength, and direction. When the woman beside him says, "I know you'll figure it out," or "I trust your judgment," that's not just comfort, that's empowerment. He'll move mountains for that kind of faith, because belief is love in action. It's saying, "I see the greatness in you even when you can't see it yet." But let's be honest, appreciation and belief take maturity. They require you to look past the flaws, to focus on what's good instead of what's missing. Too often, people get caught up in what their partner isn't doing instead of recognizing what they are doing. They start to take each other for granted, and before they know it, the spark fades. But when you choose to appreciate, truly appreciate, you shift the energy in the relationship. You replace criticism with gratitude, frustration with understanding, and distance with closeness. A man who feels appreciated and believed in doesn't just stay, he thrives. He works harder, loves deeper, and becomes more emotionally open. Because now he feels safe to be vulnerable, safe to express himself without fear of being judged. Appreciation softens him, belief strengthens him. Together, they bring out his best, and it's not just about big victories. Maybe he's trying to start a business, or maybe he's struggling to find his purpose. Maybe he's going through a tough season where things don't seem to be going right. That's when your belief matters most. When you say, I know it's hard right now, but I believe in you, those words stay with him. They echo in his mind when doubt creeps in. They remind him that someone sees something special in him. And let me tell you, that's the most powerful motivator in the world. You don't have to fix his problems. You just have to remind him that he's capable of fixing them. You don't have to push him to be great. You just have to reflect back the greatness you already see in him. That's how belief works. It's a mirror that shows him who he really is, not who the world says he should be. So many relationships crumble because appreciation gets lost in routine. People stop saying thank you. They stop noticing effort. They start expecting things instead of valuing them. But the strongest relationships, the ones that last through storms, are built on constant appreciation and unwavering belief. They never stop seeing each other. They never stop acknowledging each other's worth. Ladies and gentlemen, when you believe in a man and show him genuine appreciation, you unlock a part of his heart that nothing else can reach. You turn his love from simple affection into devotion. You make him want to rise, not because he has to, but because he wants to make you proud. And that kind of connection built on belief, gratitude, and mutual respect is the foundation of true partnership. Because when a man feels believed in, he's not just yours for the moment, he's yours for life. Ladies and gentlemen, if there's one thing I've learned about relationships, it's that words are everything. The way you speak to your partner can either strengthen your bond or silently tear it apart. You don't build love with expensive gifts or grand gestures. You build it with the right words, spoken at the right time, from the right place in your heart. Words have the power to heal, to inspire, to comfort, and to connect. But they can also wound, weaken, and divide if they're not used wisely. Every I love you, every I believe in you, every I'm sorry, carries the weight to build something beautiful when it's spoken with sincerity. The right words are like seeds. When planted in love, they grow into trust, understanding, and intimacy. But when words are careless, when they come from anger or pride, they can destroy what took years to build. That's why every couple needs to understand this truth. Communication is not just about talking, it's about connecting. It's not about winning an argument. It's about protecting the bond you share. You can be right and still lose the relationship if your words come from ego instead of love. Trust doesn't happen overnight. It's built piece by piece through consistent honesty, respect, and kindness. And one of the biggest builders of trust is language. When you say what you mean and mean what you say, you create safety. When your partner knows that your words hold truth, they begin to relax, to open up, to feel secure. That's what love needs, a foundation of emotional safety. Without it, even the strongest attraction won't survive. Because love without trust is like a house without a foundation. It might look good for a while, but it won't stand when life gets hard. See, the right words aren't always the easy ones. Sometimes they're the hard truths said gently. Sometimes they're apologies said sincerely. Sometimes they're simply words of reassurance when your partner feels uncertain. When you say, I've got you, I understand, or you can trust me, those words carry weight. They're promises that create peace. They tell your partner, you're not alone. I'm with you. And when you back those words up with action, love becomes unshakable. It's not the dramatic declarations that build lasting love. It's the consistent, genuine words spoken in everyday life. A simple thank you after a long day, a you did great today, a I'm proud of you, a we'll figure this out together. Those small phrases are like glue. They hold people close. They make a person feel seen and valued. Because love isn't just about passion. It's about partnership. And partnership thrives on trust. And trust thrives on communication. But here's the truth: we live in a world where people speak fast and listen slow. We're quick to react, slow to understand. The wrong words spoken in frustration can do more damage than silence ever could. Once words are said, they can't be taken back, and they leave marks that apologies can't always erase. That's why it's so important to pause before you speak to make sure your words build, not break. When you speak from patience, from empathy, from love, you create a space where your partner feels safe to be real. That's where true intimacy begins. You can tell when a couple has mastered the language of love. They don't always have to say much. Their words are thoughtful, kind, and consistent. They listen as much as they speak. They use words to lift each other, not to win against each other. That's what creates lasting love, when two people choose their words carefully because they care more about connection than being right. The right words also build trust in hard times. When life gets messy, when mistakes are made, when disappointments happen, the way you speak in those moments defines the future of the relationship. If your partner lets you down, you can respond with words that shame them or words that strengthen them. You can say, "You always mess up," or you can say, "This hurt, but I know we can get through it." The first destroys trust, the second rebuilds it, because forgiveness grows from understanding, not accusation, and that understanding begins with compassionate communication. Love isn't perfect. You'll argue, you'll misunderstand each other, you'll have moments when you don't see eye to eye. But even in those moments, the right words can bring you back together. A simple "I didn't mean to hurt you," or "let's start over," can soften the hardest heart, because what really matters isn't being flawless, it's being willing. Willing to communicate, to listen, to learn, and to heal through words that come from love, not pride. Trust also grows when words and actions align. If you say you'll do something, do it. If you promise to be there, show up. Consistency is the language of reliability. Every time you keep your word, you add another brick to the wall of trust. Every time you break it, you chip away at that foundation. That's why the right words don't just sound good, they hold weight because they're backed by truth. When your partner knows they can take your word to heart, that's when real peace enters the relationship. The right words also have a healing power. They can calm anxiety, ease insecurity, and repair what's been broken. When your partner is struggling, sometimes all it takes is, "I'm here for you," or "we'll figure this out together." Those words are like a balm to the heart. They say, "You're not in this alone." And that kind of reassurance builds a level of trust that nothing else can replace. Because in love, we don't just need someone to listen, we need someone who speaks to us in a way that reminds us we're safe, we're valued, and we're loved. I've seen couples who have weathered decades together, and when you ask them their secret, it's never something complicated. It's always about communication. They talk through everything. They never let pride silence them or anger poison their words. They've learned that it's not what you say during the good times that matters, it's what you say during the hard times that defines the strength of your love. So remember, these words are not just sounds. They are the rhythm of your relationship. The right words can build bridges where silence builds walls. They can light up dark days and mend broken trust. Love begins with attraction, but it lasts because of communication. When you speak from the heart, when your words match your actions, and when you use your voice to heal instead of hurt, you don't just have a partner, you have a bond that stands the test of time.